Real People TV is about you.
From Real People TV, please welcome your host, Therese.
Hello and welcome. I'm Therese from Real People TV, an Australian talk show that will get close and personal. The focus behind this new and exciting program is to give everyday people the opportunity to discuss issues of a private or community-related nature. Real People TV will provide you with an opportunity to participate in open forum discussions with professionals. This unique program will provide a platform that will capture the Australian public's thoughts and actions firsthand. Let's keep it real and give it the essence to grow into the #1 talk show we have all been waiting for. As an introduction to Real People TV, we'll be focusing on various topics that will affect us in one form or another. So sit back, relax, and get ready to speak your mind. Let's look at some of the topics that will be discussed on this program. Is customer service up to scratch? Have you tried internet dating? What are your thoughts? Family issues. How connected are you with your kids? Betrayal and deceit. Is it easy to forgive? Do you believe in psychics? Please give our guests a warm welcome. Sally Gardner, psychologist, life coach, and author of a program for change. And Colin Greatorex, solicitor for the Supreme Court of Queensland. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks, Louise. Thank
you. Shelley, given today's society, what concerns you the most?
I think that there's a disconnection between what's going on for people and their neighbourhood. So it is a bit of a worry to me that people have that sense of alienation and not being there for each other.
Could you tell us a little bit about your background and especially your book?
My background is I've been a psychologist for a number of years at the Gold Coast, and working with young people as I was, I thought that there was a bit of a gap between when they leave school and what happens when they leave home. And now we're starting to call them the helicopter kids because they kind of hover around and stay around home for quite some time. But they get a bit lost once they've left the confines and the structures of school. What's out there to help them anymore? So I thought, well, they sort of have a go at this and have a go at that, and they're a little bit lost, so that's why I wrote the book.
So do you find that they tend to stay home because it's cheaper, and obviously there's a lot of security around
them? There's a lot of issues around that, for sure. They do stay home or come back home, and that's why they're helicopters, because they can move out and move back, and they can hover around, and mum might still cook the meals, and that could be good. And yes, they might not have to pay rent, but they might move out for a while and then they come back a bit.
Because I've actually read it and it's fantastic, it really is.
Thank you.
It talks about sea change and all sorts of things, how people change their lives. I suppose they're going through certain things, so they're looking at a different change of changing the whole perspective on everything. So I did learn something by reading the book.
Interesting that a lot of people have it for their children, but the mums are the ones who've read it. Yeah, the kids might get to it sooner or later.
Therese, can I ask a question? I'm quite curious about this. Do you see the physical results of your discussions with these young people? Do you get feedback? They come back in 6 months' time and say, Sally, thank God you saved my life.
Well, no, they might say it 5 minutes later because it's all very relevant to doing things in the now.
Colin, you have an interesting portfolio. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Historically, I've got 5 kids ranging from 32 down to 9.
Wow. You have been busy.
Yeah, I've been very busy. I should mention that my first 3 children, I adopted 2 boys from Indonesia at the age of 4 months and 6 months. They're now 32 and 27. My daughter Phoebe is 24. I have another son who is 21, and I've got a 9-year-old. And a friend of mine recently asked me to come back and do some law for him, so I'm practicing in the criminal field now. I did a bit of radio talkback on the way through too as well.
Right, so anybody wants a criminal lawyer? He's the perfect gentleman.
Yeah, that's criminal lawyer, not a criminal lawyer. There is a difference.
Just very quickly, can you give us an example of an interesting case that you...
First year law. About 3/4 of the way through the year, I was taking a 2-month sabbatical. So the Friday afternoon, I went out with my mates and shaved my head completely off. And just before about to leave, I got a phone call from the lawyer that I was working with to tell me I had to appear in court on Monday to appear for a young man who'd been charged with unlawful carnal knowledge. Terrible no-no in those days. So we turned up in court on the Monday morning. I said, look, I've got the shaved head. It's not a good exercise. And in those days, I used to wear either white suits, black shirts and white ties, a Panama and TV glasses. Not a good look. So I turned up in court with the Panama, the glasses, the whole lot, the shaved head, took it off. I'm standing at the bar table with my client. The magistrate came in and sat down. The client's got perfectly groomed hair, looking really swish. Yes, the magistrate said, I want that prisoner arrested and put in the dock. And the coppers walked over and grabbed me. Now, that was an interesting experience. But I deal with issues like rape, burglary, serious criminal offences, issues like grievous bodily harm, wounding, those issues.
Wow.
And some of them do involve young people. And it's a very difficult thing because I've got a wife, I've got several kids, daughters, and to take that issue, it's difficult.
Well, thank you very much for that. Now, after a short break, we will go to our Open Forum segment.
We're going to ask you today about relationships. Now, are you a couple by any chance?
No. Just good friends.
What do you mean by good friends?
Just good friends. I've got a boyfriend and she's got a girlfriend.
Are you in a relationship at the moment?
Married.
With children?
No, planning next year.
Now, have you ever been unfaithful to your future wife?
Everything's good. No, I haven't.
Do you have a relationship? Are you going with anyone at the moment?
We've been together 19 years.
Now it's the audience turn to have their say. Let's go to our first topic for discussion. Discrimination in today's society. Does anyone have a story that they'd like to share?
I suppose I have had discrimination. I think there's a lot of age discrimination now. Like recently I've just been trying to get another job and I think a lot of it is down to age. You know, they're looking for, they're not prepared to employ people if you're over 50. And it's very hard, like even if you're going for a job as a, making sandwiches, you have to have a certificate. So I mean, you know, my years of like working in school canteens and looking after children, things like that, you can't even sort of make a sandwich without having some sort of certificate.
It's a bit ridiculous. It must be some sandwich.
Oh, that's right.
Have you thought about doing any certificate course if you're saying that's one of the obstacles that you come up against? You need a certificate in sandwich making to do it these days. Have you thought about, I mean, I know, but it might be a 5-week course or something.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now, is customer service up to scratch? Hi, Peter.
Hi,
Tell
how
us
are
your
you?
wonderful experience.
I've got a good experience.
You have?
Yeah, because I moved from New South Wales and I find that the customer service in general in Queensland, particularly on the Gold Coast, is excellent. I find that the young people who work behind counters in supermarkets are very friendly. They want to have a chat to you. I mean, it just doesn't happen in Sydney. They just want your money and out.
It's really wonderful because we do have a hospitality department here. We do have that sort of focus here. It is a tourist place, and I agree with you. I've found the same thing, that the service provided in the hospitality industry compared with going to other states and other places...
Go to a department store in Sydney and it just doesn't happen.
That's wonderful. And I think that's a credit to our trainers because they do work very hard at it. I know they do.
Don't you think that from our generation that people don't have principles and the things that we were brought up on?
Young
they don't have the same respect for each other. And when we were young, we had it drummed into us, you know. Stand up, little lady, sit down.
Respect is something you earn. And I work with young people and find them extremely respectful because I respect them, they respect me. If you go into a supermarket and you're rude to someone, you can expect they'll be rude to you.
Has anyone tried internet dating?
Hi, my name's Sharon.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Now tell us about your experience.
I've only really been on the internet dating scene since June. I've found that I've met a lot of friends, but I haven't actually met anyone that would like a commitment.
Right.
It's an interesting way to meet people. It seems to be quite safe because most of it's scanned before you even meet the person.
So you've actually gone out with people?
Yes, I have.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you recommend it?
Yes and no. It has positives and negatives. I think it just depends on your age, and if you have children, that's an issue.